Good morning to all of you. How are you feeling today? I hope everyone is in good health and safe, especially that we are still under the pandemic crisis situation. Hello, grade 11 Pacholi. My name is Regina C. Sajonia, your teacher in the subject Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management Part 1 or FABM 1. Since we are done with the preliminaries such as opening prayer, makabayan song, and online classroom etiquette, during the kumustahan part, I will directly proceed to the discussion proper. But before we start, here are some important reminders. 1. Be ready with your ballpen and notebook so that you can be able to take notes from the discussion. Number 2. Aside from ballpen and notebook, be ready also with your learning activity sheet or LAS in FABM 1, Quarter 3, Week 2, so you can be able to follow the discussion. Number 3, I will also ask you to get ready with your pieces of paper for the answering of activities. And under the most essential learning competencies or MILCs, it has learning competencies and codes. The first competency is explain the varied accounting concepts and principles with a given code of ABM underscore FABM 11 Roman numeral 3 B-C-15. And the second competency is solve exercises on accounting principles as applied in various cases with a given competency code of ABM underscore FABM 11 Roman numeral 3 B-C-16. Please take note that these learning competencies and codes are important as it will serve as your guide to see the general viewpoint of the specific topic. Let us now proceed to the lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, the learners will be able to explain the concepts and principles of accounting, differentiate each concept and principle, and appreciate the accounting concepts and principles as the guiding principles in a business setting. To give us a better understanding on the basic accounting concepts and principles, we need to define what an accounting principles is. Accounting principles is the rules and guidelines that companies must follow when reporting financial data. The Financial Accounting Standards Board or FASB issues a standardized set of accounting principles in the US referred to as the Generally Accepted Accounting Principles or GAAP. In other words, all accountants must adhere to the prescribed rules and guidelines when preparing financial statements, and these rules and guidelines, also known as the Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, were issued by the Financial Accounting Standards Board or FASB. So now, let us discuss our main topic for today, the 10 basic accounting concepts and principles. Starting off with conservatism principle. Conservatism principle, also known as prudence. In case of doubt, assets and income should not be overstated, while liabilities and expenses should not be understated. For example, a company that expects to win litigation is obliged to meet all the requirements of revenue recognition before it reports the gains. However, the company must record the economic loss if it expects to lose a lawsuit. So based on the example, the company may only record the income should they won the case once all the requirements are complied with. It is also the same if the company loses the case. There is a corresponding losses that needs to be recorded in the company's accounting book. The number 2 accounting principle is consistency principle. The consistency principle states that once you decide on an accounting method or principle to use in your business, you need to stick with it and follow the method throughout your accounting periods. Any changes must be clearly explained. Example, if the business entity follows the straight line method of depreciation, that specific method should be applied throughout the operations of the business. It's like defining the word consistent, and according to Google definition, consistent is acting or done in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate. I came across with this graphic presentation about consistency principle. It has pros and cons. When we say pros, it is in favor of. And when we say cons, it is against for. So under the pros, it says here that consistency principle is in audit and accounts. It also is for management and reduce the cost of training. And under the cons, the consistency principle restrict to follow same accounting policies and assumptions. It has judgment errors and changes permitted. Another accounting principle is cost principle. Also known as historical cost principle, accounts should be recorded initially at cost. Examples: when Jollibee buys a cash register at 10,000, it should initially record the cash register at 10,000. Another example, when a company purchases a laptop for 40,000, it should be recorded at 40,000. In other words, when you record the amount of an item, it should be based on purchase price. Another accounting principle is economic entity principle. A business enterprise is separate and distinct from its owner or investor. Example, the owner's withdrawal of cash from the business to be used for the purchase of chandelier to be installed in the owner's house. The withdrawal of cash should be recorded as deduction from the owner's capital because the money was spent for personal use of the owner. Meaning, a business proprietor should keep their business transactions separate from their own personal transactions. I repeat, a business proprietor should keep their business transactions separate from their own personal transactions. Please keep that in mind, mga anak, and apply it to your own business in the near future. The next accounting principle is the full disclosure principle. It means that all relevant and material information should be reported. Again, it means that all relevant and material information should be reported. Example, financial analysts who read financial statements need to know what inventory valuation was used in the inventory, what depreciation method was used in adjusting the cost of an equipment over time. In the company's financial report, it should inform the reader. In this example, it pertains to the financial analysts. It should inform the reader all matters pertaining to the information as reflected in the said financial report, because the reader will base his or her understanding on the full information provided in the report. Through this full disclosure principle, doubts, presumption, and assumption will be avoided. The next accounting principle is the going concern principle. In the going concern principle, business is expected to continue indefinitely. Example, a state-owned company is in a tough financial situation and is struggling to pay its debt. The government gives the company a bailout and guarantees all payments to its creditors. The state-owned company is a going concern despite its poor financial position. So when you put up a business, you should take note of this principle. Why? Because your business is supposed to exist indefinitely. Not 5 years, not 50 years, but indefinitely. The number 7 accounting principle is the matching principle. In the matching principle, costs should be matched with the revenue generated. Example, when you provide tutorial services to a customer and there is a transportation cost incurred related to the tutorial services, it should be recorded as an expense for that period. So for every revenue or income, or in Tagalog, kita, there is a corresponding expense or gastos. Have you heard of the Tagalog phrase, laway lang ang puhunan, kumita na? Would you like to expound on that Tagalog phrase? That Tagalog phrase talks about selling technique. However, acquiring selling technique entails cost, probably through attending a webinar or training. Therefore, still there is a corresponding expense in that phrase, laway lang ang puhunan, kumita na. So the matching principle will inevitably be considered. The next accounting principle is the materiality principle. In case of assets that are immaterial to make a difference in the financial statements, the company should instead record it as an outright expense. Example, a school purchased an eraser with an estimated useful life of 3 years. Since an eraser is immaterial relative to assets, it should be recorded as an expense. So when we say immaterial amount, It means the purchase item, though an asset, will be recorded as an expense already because it does not make any difference in the financial statement. Because normally, asset accounts entail material amount or significant amount. The next accounting principle is the monetary unit principle. When we say monetary unit principle, the amounts are stated into a single monetary unit. Example, Jollibee should report financial statements in pesos even if they have a store in the United States. Another example, IHOP should report financial statements in dollars even if they have a branch here in the Philippines. Monetary unit principle means that when you prepare a comprehensive financial statement, the currency that will reflect in the FS will be the currency of the country where the main headquarters of the business is located. Because in the comprehensive financial statement, it is a report that combines all financial reports coming from the branches of the business. The next or the 10th accounting principle is the revenue recognition principle. In the revenue recognition principle, revenue is reported when it is earned, regardless of when payment is actually received. Example, a landscaping service was completed in an executive village for a contract fee of 50,000. In this accounting principle, the revenue or gross income or gross sales, these accounts are all the same in nature, should be recorded once the service or the sale is completed regardless of the collection activity, meaning collected or not, it should be recorded at once.
Alright, after discussing to you the definition of accounting principles and the 10 basic accounting concepts and principles, this is now your chance to ask questions or clarifications. Any question? Any clarification? If there are no question or clarification, let us now proceed to in answering your activities, please follow these general instructions. Number 2, in answering your activity, you will be provided 5 minutes time allotment for each activity. Number 3, submission of your answer sheets from all the 5 activities will be during the upcoming scheduled distribution of classes. Number 4, utmost understanding and careful comprehension on all the questions are encouraged. Give your best effort in answering the activities without looking at the answer key of the last. Are the instructions clear? Stay focused and good luck!
Let us start with Activity 1. The direction is unscramble the letters to complete the following statements about the accounting concepts and principles. It has 10 items. The number 1 item was already answered for you, so let me read to you the question. The blank unit assumption means transactions of U.S. companies are reported in dollars. The scrambled letters are TORE and YAM. The answer for that question is monetary. Kindly continue answering the remaining questions. Good luck! Your time starts now. Okay, time is up. Please stop writing. Let us now proceed to the activity 2. For the direction, write the letter of the correct answer. You have 10 items for this activity. Again, the answer for number 1 question will be given to you as your guide. So let me read to you the question. Photoline provides advertising services to an investment company in year A, but receives advertising fee in year B. Photoline recognizes this revenue in year A. Which principle justifies this action? The answer for this question is C. Revenue recognition principle. As I have mentioned earlier, there are 10 items in this activity. Good luck! Your time starts now. Okay, time is up. Please stop writing as we continue with the remaining activities. This time, you are going to answer the activity 3. For the direction, read the statements carefully below and think whether they conform to accounting principles. Put a happy face for correct practices and sad face for incorrect practices, and explain why. There are 5 case problems pertaining to accounting practices in this activity. Please read them carefully. Once again, number 1 question was answered for you. So let me remind you that this specific activity requires you to explain your answer by just citing what a specific accounting principle was being asked in the case problem. Good luck! Your time starts now. Okay, your time is up. Please stop writing. Okay, we're done with activity 3. We will now proceed to activity 4. For the direction, identify the accounting principle behind the following cases. So let me read to you question number 1 as well as its answer. Accountants might recognize losses but not gains in certain situations. For example, the company might write down the cost of inventory but will not write up the cost of inventory. For this specific question, the answer is conservatism principle. Okay, so once again, number 1 question was answered for you. Please read the remaining case problems carefully. Good luck and your time starts now. Okay, time is up. Please stop writing as we are going to proceed to the last activity, which is the activity 5. Direction: solve the following cases by applying accounting concepts and principles. Identify the accounting principle behind the following cases. Here is the question number 1 of activity 5 together with the answer and explanation. Mr. Santos purchased his dream sports car, a red Lamborghini, for 12.7 million. Does it have to be reflected on the company's balance sheet? The answer for that question is, for the accounting principle, it is an economic entity principle. The explanation: the purchase of the sports car should not be reflected in the company's balance sheet because it is a personal transaction of Mr. Santos. Now, you may continue answering the rest of the questions. Good luck, and your time starts now. Time is up. Please stop writing.
Okay, so you're done with answering all the activities. For the answer key, before I flash the answer key of activity 1 to 5, I will now allow you to turn the pages of your LAS in the answer key portion. Here are the answer key for all the activities. Answer key for activity 1. Answer key for activity 2. Answer key for activity 3. Answer key for activity 4. And answer key for activity 5. Did you get it all correctly? I do hope that you were able to understand our discussion, and I believe that you practice the value of honesty by not turning to your last answer key while answering the activities. Okay, so that's all for today's online discussion for the subject Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management Part 1 or FABM 1. And I hope that you were able to appreciate our topic about the basic accounting concepts and principles. More so, if you are going to apply these concepts and principles in your own business ventures. Thank you very much for listening. God bless everyone. Goodbye.